we are going to be using a piece of decoupage paper and some essential stencils. So the first step is to paint our board white. I always paint my boards white when I am using decoupage paper. Now I am going to get my edges of my decoupage paper wet so I can get that chippy frayed edge look. If you want the frayed edge look and you don't have a water pen, just take a paintbrush, add some water to it, and do the same thing that I'm doing with the paint pen. Or you can use scissors if you want a more defined edge. Totally up to you on what you want it to look like. I personally like frayed edges. Once I get all of my sides done, I lay it on my board, see if it's how I'm going to like it, and then I apply my Mod Podge. I am applying a pretty good coat of Mod Podge, guys. Mod Podge is thinner than some of the other decoupage mediums, and so when you're using rice paper, you want to make sure that you have plenty of Mod Podge so our project will stick. So I've got lots of Mod Podge on here. I'm not letting it dry. I am going to apply my rice paper while my Mod Podge is wet. So I'm going to get it on there. I got a couple little wrinkles. I'm not real worried about that because when I take my heat gun, it will smooth out those wrinkles, guys. You could also apply a piece of parchment paper with a mini craft iron and it would come out as well. Now I am just applying another coat of Mod Podge over the top. I'm going to end up sealing this piece at the end with some Rust-Oleum 2x matte. But for now, we're going to go ahead and put Mod Podge over our decoupage paper so we don't mess it up. Now, I had some antiquing gel that's supposed to give you kind of a textured look, so I thought I'd try it. I honestly didn't really care for it when it was dry. I liked how it went on. I thought it was going to give me a real cool effect. But in all honesty, guys, it didn't do some of the cool things that some of the other projects do that I like. So once I got that on there, got it dry, or almost dry, it did take a long time, I took my shop towel and kind of blotted it, and that kind of gave me a cool texture on it. But I'm probably not going to use that antiquing gel again because it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. So after I got done with that and got it dry, then I went ahead and got my stencil from Essential Stencil, the Sunflower Collection, and I took some Tim Holtz Crackle Medium in Opaque. Opaque is the big thing, guys. Don't use the translucent, use the opaque. So I took out my little palette knife, I put it through the stencil, and then once I was done with that, I lifted the stencil straight up. I'm going to let that dry and do its thing, and it's going to have some really cool crackle in that sunflower, guys. But remember, light coats and then lift it straight up, and you should be good to go. So once we got that finished, then I applied my other stencil, and I'm going to use brown for stenciling that on. And let me get that lifted up real quick. Getting ahead of myself. Now I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to apply my next stencil. But, I almost forgot. I'm going to apply some more of that textured paste around the edges. I knew there was something I was forgetting, guys. So this is just going to kind of give it an even more older look. And I just went right over that other texture paste that I didn't like. This one kind of overrides it, I guess you could say, because it worked fabulously. So I haven't found a surface yet that I don't like this crackle paste on. If I find one, I'll make sure to let you know, but I haven't found one yet. So I'm just going around the whole piece, giving it a little bit of that aged look. We could leave it like this in the white, but y'all know I'm going to go and distress it because I just like it how it's when it does the distress part with it. I don't know, just a personal preference, I guess. So once I get that completely on, then I am going to take my stencil from Essential Stencil. I will get my paint up into my brush bristles. I will offload my brush, and I will stencil on my stencil. I'm only going to do it one time, one coat of paint, one coat of that brown. So like I said, it's a swirling motion, one coat. And I always start at the top, guys, or at the bottom. I don't ever hardly start in the middle. But once we get that on, then I'm going to lift that straight up, and we are good to go. So like I said at the beginning, we could leave our piece like this, but I am going to use some Tim Holtz Distress Oxides, and this is why I'm going to spray my piece again with Rust-Oleum 2 times at the end, because I am using a water-based product. I don't want to seal it with a water-based sealer because it will run all over the place. So getting this finished, I went over the sunflowers, went over the entire piece with this Distress Oxide. I think it turned out really, really cool. I know there's a lot of y'all that are excited that are going to do this project. So if you do it, please be sure to let me see it. If you're thinking about doing it, let me know in the comments that you're thinking about doing it. And if you have done something similar, let me know. Guys, I appreciate you watching. If you don't mind, sprinkle, share, comment, interact, thumbs up, like, all that good stuff. It helps us get out there, and I would love for a lot of people to be able to see this project. So please share, guys, and we'll see you again soon with another DIY.